Hey guys, this is Vol, and it's finally time to start talking about Warhammer 40,000 and the progress that I've made on my World Eaters Chaos Space Marines army. Here with my buddy Mo and his Necrons at my place, with basically a terrain setup that really just uses half of my fantasy terrain and some of my old classic bits of polystyrene for the 40k terrain. So yeah, just a bit more of a relaxed battle report. I think I'll be building up to some of the more better looking and sort of more competitive battle reports as I go. One thing about this game is that I'm playing with a 1750-point army while my opponent has an 1850-point army. We partly did that because he's sort of cobbled together his army, and Necrons, as everybody agrees, pretty much at the bottom of the pile in terms of power level of Warhammer 40,000 armies. Unfortunately, they've only got one troops choice. It's a pretty bad troops choice, the Necron warriors, and they lack some of the tools to do well in all the missions and really just to beat their opponents. Also, of course, if you take too many of their crappy units like the Necron warriors, that's going to hamper your ability to win the game. But on the other hand, if you don't take enough individual models like that, you'll phase out if you take too much of a beating if the game gets too close. So that's why we're partly sort of giving him a bit of a handicap here, and also. Yeah, just looking to just make a game of it, really. You can see my guys pretty much very well painted up with the red. I'm getting closer to that sort of 100% completed sort of thing. All the bottle caps that you see on the table here are the mission objectives. We've got 5 of them in this case. One with the obliterators and the rubble on the left. 3 strewn over the hills in the middle. And the 5th one is actually behind that wall on the top right of the photo. Go to the next image, a bit of a closer look at what I've got here. You can see the Doom Throne Defiler, which everybody loves. The Land Raider, which I've been putting a lot of work into lately. It takes ages to paint these things up, and really happy with the glow of the red in this case. I put lots of layers of red and red mixed with white on top of it with a little bit of yellow edging, and it's really starting to stand out, so happy with that. Indeed, and of course the Land Raider carrying the Terminators. To the left it's got a Rhino full of Berserkers, and on the right attack Chaos Space Marine squad too. Next photo shows you the other side of the field here, where you can see one more Rhino with another Chaos Space Marine squad heading over on the left flank. So the plan really here is just to stall the game a bit, and then in the last couple of turns move on to the objectives and hopefully just keep my Rhinos alive while sending the other stuff like the Demon Prince and the Terminators forward to do as much damage to his troop squads as I can, preventing him from actually capturing the objectives. So he's at a real disadvantage here. He's only got 2 troops choices. I've got 3, and he can't commit his troops choices too easily because they've got no vehicle transports and they're very easy to kill. Next image, here's his army. He's got a Monolith in the center, Wraiths and Destroyers on the left flank, and all of his Necron warriors hidden behind the wall. I think the plan here is just to keep them hanging back there so they can't be destroyed, and then bring them through the Necron Monolith portal later in the game when they do need to take the objective. So that's a pretty good plan. He's also got a Deceiver and some Mortals on the right-hand side, so go to the next photo. I can see a bit more of a close-up on his Destroyers and Necron Warriors. He's bought most of these guys second-hand, and I think spent much of the day before the game was played just dry brushing as much stuff as he could, but I kind of like the rusty effect achieved so far. Next image shows you a Necron Lord with a unit of what look like Necron Warriors, but we're using them to represent Immortals, so he just pointed out to me that the guys with the blue guns are going to be Necron Immortals for this game. He's got the Veil of Darkness, the Staff of Light, Resurrection Orb, just some pretty solid kit there. Pretty pricey Lord though. Next image, not the best image, but it's the Necron Deceiver. At 300 points, he's a bit of a expensive tool, but if you use him correctly, he can be useful. He's got some abilities which really only work against troops that have a chance of failing their morale checks, but in close combat he's great because he ignores armor saves and invulnerable saves, so I'm told. So quite a cool little guy to have. Possibly I'd maybe think about going Nightbringer instead because he's actually got a ranged attack, but either way, having a Satan Lord in your army, not the worst choice. Next image, moving out with the Land Raider straight away. I've got the first turn here, and just creating a bit of a traffic jam behind my lines with the Rhinos. At this point, I don't want to stay in range of too many glancing hits from their Gauss weapons, but later on in the game I'll be shifting out a bit. In the meantime, firing a battle cannon, not achieving too much. Going to the next photo, I've sent the Rhino on the left over there to the left flank of the battlefield, and won't really be achieving too much with him, really just to keep that unit alive. Unfortunately, it could turn out to be a bit of a boring first half of the game, but it's got to be that way if I want to really be on top of those objectives later on, since there's so many of them. Next image, Mo responds with his turn. By the way, I did have a go at killing his monolith, managed to get one penetrating hit through, but unfortunately didn't get the score needed to blow it up. He's moved his Wraiths turbo boosting over behind this forest, so that's what's happening there. And as you can see, he's got a lot of Necrons on this left-hand side, his left-hand side of the field, so there's only one objective for him to take immediately, though, so with my troops camped the way they are, I can really counterattack and respond to his next moves pretty well. Next photo, the Wraiths just hanging in the forest here. There's enough trees there to pretty much block them from line of sight, so they're pretty good. They've got a 3+ invulnerable save, but with a lot of light shooting, they are going to die pretty easily. Next photo, he actually rolled a dangerous terrain check for his destroyers landing in difficult terrain. I think that's the actual procedure there, and he managed to roll a 1 on one of them, so he's fallen down, possibly to be back later in the following Necron turn with the will be back rule, but other than that, Necrons just blasting away with their shooters and not really achieving too much in this first turn. So going to the next image, he's pulled out these Immortals here to fire at the Land Raider, but with all of that shooting, he doesn't roll even a single 6 in the glancings, despite getting many hits. So unfortunately, he did not actually get anything off. But it's quite difficult to kill a demonically possessed Land Raider with glancing hits anyway. Next image, my second turn, I just go roaring into the battlefield with the Land Raider. And the plan here really is just to see what he does. If he does immobilize it or destroy it, he's going to have to bring some troops nearby to do that. Whereas if he doesn't destroy it, I'm going to be able to move elsewhere and just unload the Terminators and start bashing stuff. So just really putting the ball firmly in his court here. And we'll see what happens, but I'm quite liking the look of it, and it's quite useful to be able to have a few choices as to where to jettison your really killy Khorne Terminators. Demon Prince hiding behind the wall back there, just waiting for him to come onto the objectives, because that'll give me the best opportunity of choices and targets to pick. Next photo, Doomthrone walking out, bashing things with this battle cannon, managed to get, I think, a big hit off on some of his guys at one point. Might have been the destroyers, but can't really quite easily remember the details of that particular part of the battle. And both of these rhinos just hanging back behind the wall. Unfortunately, a bit of a traffic jam there, but I'm not too worried because they can always go back the other direction if they need to. Next image, I've got the other rhino heading round to the objective, so he's captured it now, and it's just going to be a matter of whether he pulls over his Deceiver or maybe his Tomb Swarm thingies, Necron Scarabs as they're called, to, how shall we put it, to contest the objective. But if he brings this Deceiver over, that means the Deceiver's not going to be able to help out the rest of the troops in the middle of the battlefield where it's needed. And if he brings the Scarabs over, I can easily beat them off and kill them. Next image, what he's done here is he's actually pulled out all the destroyers and brought them back through the Necron Monolith portal, as I believe you're allowed to do. And that has allowed him to bring back 2 of them from the dead after they've been whacked by my battle cannon and after failing that to difficult terrain checks. So that brings him back with 4 destroyers, and he's able to move off and start shooting again. Next image, here's where he's gone to. He's come over to the left and will start shooting at the Land Raider, and he's pulled out his Satan Deceiver as well, moving over to this objective, possibly to assault something as well. Next image, the Tomb Spider moving out with his beady little red eye, and also thinking about attacking the Land Raider, but the Land Raider's popped smokes. It's moved it flat out, so, well, 12 inches that is, and hopefully we'll survive this next round. Let's go on to the next photo. What happens here is the Doomthrone Defiler has been immobilized, which I've sort of showed you by pulling off his legs there, which haven't been glued in place just yet. And that really causes a traffic jam because the 2 rhinos behind him can't actually get past now, so they're going to have to go back the other direction, which is kind of silly. Just a bad play by me, really. Next photo, the Terminators, jumping out here, really looking cool with their paint job and so forth, and getting ready to attack the Tomb Spider, because their Land Raider has been coming under attack at this point. Not really sure if this is the right idea here, because the Tomb Spider are quite difficult to kill with his toughness 6, even though they do have power weapons. They've got to get 6s to wound. And the Chain Fist goes last, and of course the Tomb Spider itself is a monstrous creature, so probably not the best play, but still getting used to all of the different fights and matchups in 40k, so just picking these things up as I go. Next image, way out in the field, the Demon Prince is flown out, getting ready to assault the Destroyers, which I think will be a great option for him. And the Deceiver has actually attacked the Land Raider and immobilized it with his close combat attacks. All the other Rhinos moving out in the middle field here, and decent move really. There's 3 objectives for them to go and capture, or to head one in the back towards the part where the Obliterators are camping. So that's going to be pretty good. And next image, what happens here is the Demon Prince is going to go for it. You can see him about to assault these hapless destroyers and wreck their day. Next image, although it's immobilized, the Land Raider is able to swing its last cannons around and fire at the Deceiver point blank range. That's why I've turned the turret around, which is quite funny. And blasting at point blank, but not getting either hits. Both of them rolled a 3, which normally would be a hit, but with Demonic Possession, you're down to Ballistic Skills 3, so there you go. Next image, the Necron Lord moves his guys, I think teleporting them over here and firing at the Demon Prince and eliminating him, so that was annoying. The Demon Prince had wiped out all of the destroyers, which was quite a good little move, but he's paid the price by being shot down by many Gauss weapon shots. Next image, the Terminator still hacking away at the Tomb Spider, nearly destroying it, but now the Deceiver's going to come over and get them, so really bad play by the Terminators themselves, really squandering that squad, but at least the battlefield is pretty clear at the back there for me to actually capture the objective, still in turn 3 or 4 at this point. Next image, the Deceiver moves in, crushing most of the Terminators. I'm not able to get any wounds back at him, and it's still the Chaos Lord, Zoofor as you might like to call them, just hanging back there and continuing the fight, so not being destroyed straight away, passing those fearless checks with the 2+. Next, what happens here is he finally decides to make a move with the Necron warriors, bringing them out through the Monolith portal and going for the objective, so I'm going to have to wipe them out or contest that somehow, but if he contests all of my objectives at the same time, it's going to be quite tough. Next image shows you what the battlefield looks like. He's got 1 objective there in front of the Monolith, but there's 2 objectives which belong to me over the left, so it's just a matter of him moving the Scarabs and the Immortals closer to them, and I'll have to wipe them out in my following turn, but I had the first turn, so I don't really get to respond if the game ends. Next photo, I've disembarked a really cool looking squad of Chaos Space Marines here, and they've gone all over this objective here, and it's just going to be a matter of whether they can fend off the Wraiths in time before the game ends and keep this objective alive. So going to the next photo, I have put a bit of a blast marker over his Necrons at the back there with the Doom Throne, because it's immobilized. It's still got its battle cannon going, crushing many of the Necrons there, but not wiping out the squad or making them fall back with a morale failed check. And next image again, Wraiths show up and almost ready, well actually within range of that objective, so if the game ends after they show up, I've got basically all my objectives contested if he gets the other ones too. Next photo, yeah, he's moved his Immortals behind that wall at the back there, so they're actually within 3 inches of the objective through the wall, and these Necron Scarabs have flown over the Rhino as well to take that one. And there you go, that's a bit of a photo in the next one where you can see the Immortals just within 3 inches over the wall. They're not shooting anything, but they've done their job, so I'm going to have to really, just lose that objective really to them. But it does pin them down. It means if they teleport somewhere else, then I've got the objective. So there you go. Next photo, the game doesn't end, fortunately. I had a 1 in 3 chance of losing this game outright, but as it happens, he rolled the 3+, and out come the Chaos Space Marines and the Tactical Squad. Nearly finished painting them, but here you go. Just start ripping into the swarms, Necron Scarab swarms with bolters and starting to chug into them. Next photo, my Berserkers head out of the Rhino and move straight into the Necron Warriors and really give them a piece of their mind, which I was looking forward to doing all game. And the other squad of Chaos Marines attacking the Wraiths and bashing them down as well. So I was really lucky to get that 6th turn going, because in the 6th turn I can really start putting the battle plan into its next gear and starting to lay some smackdown. So next photo, here's a bit of an overview of what actually happened. I've got the objective on the left clear, I've contested the objective in the middle, and the objective at the top is still contested. So what he's done is he's moved his remaining 3 Necron warriors onto the hill in the bottom of the photo, meaning that the game's going to be a draw. But if we go to the next photo, the game continues. The Deceiver attacks the Berserkers, who don't really care at this point because they've got that objective tied up. They should be able to last a couple of rounds, I hope. Next photo, everybody fires at the Necrons on the hill, killing as many of them as possible. And what ends up happening here is that I eliminate them. I actually kill all three of them with the battle cannon and the obliterator shooting, and win the game that way. So it came down to actually quite a close game. I made a number of mistakes in it, but still getting used to, this army, the matchups, and so forth. But it was a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll catch you next game. There's going to be a bit of a rematch, so I'll post that when I can.